Good morning, class, the receiving school students and teachers.
Good morning, Mrs. Wakandas.
How are you all this morning?
We are very well, thank you. And how are you this morning?
I'm very well, just like you all. Thank you. You may be seated. I'd like all of us to have a look at what I have with me. And if we can have William to tell us what this is.
A branch of a tree.
Good, very good. It's part of a tree or a branch of a tree. Part of a tree, and a part of the tree is the branch. We also have leaves on. Thank you. We have the branch and the leaves. Now, you were given homework in the previous lesson, and to the receiving school teachers, if you can take in those homework, your students' homework, and help to check the work the students have done. And with the model class, we will look at the picture or the diagram of a tree with the parts, and we will try to see how we can get them labeled. And if I can have Regina to label the first one, number 1, for us, please, Regina. Makaisia. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we have Bobby, please. Bobby, number 2. Aloysia, number 3.
Roots.
Just start there. Okay, Aloysia, number 3. Francis, 4. And we have Shane for number 5. Good, thank you. Francis, move quickly, please. Shane, move. Thank you, Francis. Good, thank you. So that is what you should have done for your homework. Those, the rest of you who did not give me your books, if you haven't done yours, I'd like you to make sure you get them done. And that is how you should have done. There were some very good diagrams of trees with the different parts. These are actually the main parts of a tree, the main parts of a tree. Now, the class, the receiving school students and the teachers may be wondering why we had a look at the importance of trees in the previous lesson. This is all because the projects that we will be doing for this term is all to do with trees. So we have to know, we have to investigate the importance of trees, how they are useful before we can go to those projects. Now, we also looked at 8 importance of trees, 8 importance of trees. If I can have Carol to give me one of them, please. One of the importance of trees.
Provide food for human and animals.
Very good. Thank you. Trisha.
Home to many plants and animals.
Very good. Thank you. Paul D. Paul D. One from you, please. That's 2 now.
Firewood.
Oh, firewood. Good. Yes, Ovin.
Support and protect the soil.
Good. Thank you. There are many, but we have the last one from Elisa. Elisa will give us the last one.
Stores water in the ground.
Very good. Thank you. And there are many others. Now, those are the reasons why trees are very important to us. Now, I broke off this branch, which I shouldn't, okay? And that is what you and I shouldn't do to plants or trees. Because when I do this, actually I am trying to use it for good purpose, but for each and every one of us, we shouldn't break off branches or whatever from any part of a plant or a tree unnecessarily, unless we have good purpose or good use for whatever we want to do. Now, you were given another homework, and that homework was to find out the importance of planning or designing, okay? Or what planning is and what designing is. Anybody try to find out the definition or meaning of planning and designing? Who can share with us? Shane, do you have any there that you would like to share? Thank you. Shane will share with us what he found out as his homework for planning.
Planning is to make a plan of something, first to have something in relations to do with it, and to make progress of something.
Very good, thank you. Anybody who would like to try designing? Designing. Yes, Messi?
Drawing that shows how a thing is to be made, or lines or shapes forming a pattern or decoration.
Very good, thank you. So, if you have heard what your friends have said, Shane with planning and Messi with design or designing, those are the definitions of those two words. So our topic for this lesson is actually on that homework you were given in the previous lesson, which is Doveri. Which is Doveri, if you can read for us our topic for this lesson.
Planning and designing.
Okay, importance of planning and designing. Why planning and designing are very important or necessary. Now, in the previous lessons, and especially in Term 1, we have done some activities on planning and also on designing. And we will once again look at why planning and designing are very important in whatever we want to do. So our topic, activity, I'd like the class to read it together.
What is planning? What is designing?
Okay, so we have two little kids like you asking what planning is and what designing is. Now let's find out what planning is. What is planning? Now I'd like the class, the receiving school students to, if you can get the definition of planning copied into your exercise books. And while you are getting them copied, I'd like Hayano to read for us what planning is. Hayano? What is planning?
A method of doing something that is worked out usually in some detail before it is begun, and that may be written down in some form or simply retained in memory.
Very good. Good reading. Now it says, the last part of that definition, it says, or simply retained in memory. Or simply retained in memory. Now that is actually talking about you keeping it in your mind. Okay, whatever you are planning, you either write it or you just have it in your mind of what you are going to do. What is designing is going to be our next definition that is to be copied into your books as well. What is designing? Now, if I can have Edward to read for us the definition for designing.
The way in which something is planned and made could be through writing, drawing, or graphing.
Very good, thank you. Very clear, the meaning of the definition is very clear. Importance of planning and designing. Why is planning and designing very important? That I'd also like you to get it copied into your workbooks. And if I can have Violet to read the importance of planning and designing for us.
A good and proper planning helps in the success of whatever is being planned for.
Thank you. Now I'd like the class, if you can put down your pen, pencil, whatever you are using, so we can just go through the importance of planning and designing once again. Now Violet has already read it, but I'd like the class to read it once more. Class, if you can read the importance of planning and designing once again together.
Good and proper planning helps in the success of whatever is being planned for.
Okay, now it says a good and proper planning helps in the success of whatever is being planned for. Now we have two very clear examples in our school. We have two clear examples in our school that shows us that whatever I am referring to, there wasn't good and proper planning done for those two things I'm talking about. Now if somebody can tell me what I'm referring to. Yes, Paul? There are two things, good examples in our school that shows there wasn't good or proper planning done.
The new block.
The?
New block.
Very good, the new building, just where your classroom is. Thank you. Another, Helen?
Drainage.
Yeah, drainage. No better planning done. Any others? Messi?
The cafeteria.
The cafeteria. Okay? We have it done there, but is it operating? No. Okay, so that's what can happen if there is no better or proper planning done for anything that has to be made. Now, these are some factors or some things that have to be considered, not only by you and I, but by everyone who thinks of making or doing something. And we have the first two. Once again, I'm asking the class, the receiving school students also, to get that copied. While I have Trisha to read the first factor for us,
Time, cost, tools, facilities, and people.
Right. The first factor, it says resources, time, cost, tools, facilities, and people. When we are planning to do something or to make something, we must think of the time when whatever you want to make, when will it start? So when you are going to begin your work on that, the cost of it, how much it's going to cost you to do whatever you are planning to do, the tools, the type of tools you need, facilities. Here it's talking about transport to bring whatever you need, the materials to where you want to do whatever you want to make. Power and some other like manpower, whether you have the resources, you have people there to help you. Okay? Now the second one, Patricia, second factor.
Place or site for whatever is being planned for.
Good. Location or place or site for whatever is being planned for. That is the second factor. You have to look closely at the place that you would like to build or do whatever you want to do. Whether that place is a suitable place, a place where many people will come to, or many people pass by. These are the things that you have to consider, especially when you are thinking of where, the location. Now we have the next two. Once again, class and the receiving school students, get those copied into your books. And we have Quarry, please. Quarry, read for us the third one.
Whether it will work or be successful.
Okay, this is talking about viability, okay? Viability meaning whether whatever you want to make or build or do, whether it's going to work or whether it's going to be successful. You have already given me an example of what we have where we are right now. That whatever was done wasn't planned for, so it did not work out. It's incomplete. The fourth one, Rachel, please. The fourth factor to consider when planning.
The type of work to be done.
The type of work to be done. That's the task and activities. Whatever you plan to make, whether it's a flower garden, whether it's a store, a cafeteria, or a house that you are building to use it for something, what type of activities are going to be taking place in whatever you are going to make. Now, if we are thinking of planning to make a flower garden, there are activities that we have to do in order to have that flower garden. So, when planning for whatever has to be made, there must be consideration on the type of activities, who is going to do those activities, and whether you will have enough money to buy whatever you need to do those activities, and even for payment for those people who help you in doing all those tasks and activities. So those are the factors to be considered when planning or designing. Let me ask Adrian, once again, what is the first factor? First factor?
Time, cost, tools.
Okay, all the time, cost, all that come under, what is it, Adrian? Resources, very good, resources. And the second, Tassie? Second factor to be considered?
Location.
Good, thank you. The third, Angeline, the third factor?
Viability.
Viability, good. And Justin, who is it? Paul, sorry, Paul. Paul, the fourth one?
Tasks and activities.
Good, tasks and activities. Now we have 2 activities to do. The first one, you will be doing that together as a group. And the second one is going to be done individually, okay? The first one as a group, the second one individually. Now, first one, you're all expected to get it done in this lesson. The second one, if you don't finish, you will be given time to finish, and we will have a look at that in the first thing in the next lesson. Now, if I can have Justin to read for us the first activity. Justin, the first activity.
In groups, discuss the advantage of planning.
Okay, in groups, you have to discuss the advantages of planning. What is good about planning? How does it help? Okay, now I would expect about 3 to 4 advantages from every group. If I can have the runners, please, runners from each group. Runners. There, Patrick. Now the second one, the second activity, let's have Daira to read it for us. Daira, please. Second activity.
Practice design a tree planting project.
Very good, thank you. Now, individually, you are going to practice designing a tree planting project. Now, what does designing say? What are you going to do in designing? We looked at it a while ago. What are you going to do in designing? Gima, what are you going to do in designing? Anybody who can help Gima? Rachel, let's say hands up. What are you going to do in designing?
The way in which is planned, something is planned and made, could be through writing, drawing, or graphing.
Okay, could be writing, drawing, or graphing. Now in here, I'd like you to draw. Okay? Now, the area where the tree planting project is going to be, it will be from the end of the grade 6 classroom, okay, right down to the end of our classroom. So you will, the second activity, you will start in this lesson, get it completed, and we will have a look at it in the next lesson, first thing. That's for your second activity. Now you have to get the first one done quickly. First activity, you are to? Yeah, but you are going to? What are you going to do? Yeah, but what are you going to do? Ovin? What are you going to do? Discuss, okay? Discuss, and then what you discuss, you write. That's for your second activity that you will complete it at home. Enough papers? want to Gail. One. No, you have your work to do. 2, 3. Okay, and you haven't started on your. I gave you a marker, so make sure you write in marker and it shows up clearly. Good, thank you. This is for your second activity, the one you're going to do individually. How many of you? Yes. But make sure the first one is done. And you're all supposed to be helping. What are you going to do? Yeah, okay, good. Giving ideas, discussing, giving ideas, and it's written there. Okay, this is for your second activity you are going to do individually. Fine, you already finished it. Good. You have somebody to present there. Six of you are. Tanabik and Jennifer, are you with your friends? You're all supposed to be discussing. Contribute. One more. Okay, this paper is for the second activity. So you're all getting one. But for this activity, you have to do that first one as a group. This one, once you finish it, you start on the second one. Get it completed, and we will have a look at it. First thing, the next lesson. How many days?
Everything goes in order.
Okay, you are not doing your own writing. You are all now discussing what some of the advantages. How many do you have? Okay, make it that the last. Thank you. Have somebody. We have one now. Okay, 2. Okay, make that the last one. Okay? Good. You have 2 already, so make that the last one. Have somebody to quickly present it. How many do you have? 2. Okay, good. Make this the last, what you're going to write. How many? How many do you have? You have 1 already, okay? You just write 1 more. Make it 2. Okay, listen. You have to at least give chance to, for every one of you in the group at least must have an opportunity to present. So we cannot have the same person all the time, okay? Now, who is going to be from your group?
Next is going to be.
Okay, so I'd like you to make sure everyone in the group at least have a chance in presenting whatever group work you do. So you have to go around so you all have the chance in doing it. Good. Okay, yeah. Who from your group? Who from your group? Who is going to present from your group? Because I do not want the same people. Okay? Oh, thank you, Patrick. Good. Okay, you have to move your hands quickly. So it's not good to have same people all the time. So if you are starting with her, then it has to come around that way, yeah. So it comes around and then you start again with Adrian. So at least maybe you were 2 or 3 times in the term presented something. Okay, listen class. We will be having one person from each group to quickly present what you and your friends had as advantages to planning. Okay, when you are ready, we will have the first group. If I can have the first group, please. Okay, you move quickly and do it so all your other friends will come in. put that one on, just one on, and you come to this side. We have query from group 1, please. If I can have every one of us to be quiet so we can hear what our friend has to say.
We know actually what to do. We know what and facilities to do, to use. We know when to start.
When to start. Good, thank you. Second group, please, quickly. We have Nigel from group 2. It's on.
Advantage of planning. Advantage of planning.
Don't see me see your friends.
Converge how we are going to do it. Number 2, giving us to do something. Number 3, something closes.
Something successful.
Something successes. Close.
Okay, good. Thank you, Nigel. Okay, let's have the third group.
The advantage of planning is, first one is things will be in order. Second one is there will be good outcome. And third one is if you are building a new building, the workers will know what to do according to the plan.
Very good, thank you. Good. Let's have the fourth group. Fourth group. Okay, we have Raylene from the fourth group. Okay, and come and stand this side.
Advantage of planning are, number 1, it tells us to remember the right measurements for building something. And number 2, it helps us to guide us in doing something.
Right, good. Thank you, Raylene. Let's have the fifth group, please. Fifth group. Okay, we have Nana Dai from the fifth group.
The advantages for planning are, number 1, planning is good because you will know how it will turn out. Number 2 is planning before doing will be successful.
Very good, thank you. Nana Dai, sixth group, please.
It helps the work to be done successful. It makes the work come in order. It's successful to be
to help me with
to do when it's planned.
Thank you. Good, thank you, Patrick. The last group, group 7, please.
For advantage of planning is we got only 2. If you plan, you will know exactly what to do. If you know what you have planned, you will be successful in the end.
Good, thank you. So, all the advantages that you have all had are all correct, and those are very good advantages. So, looking at all the advantages you have had, that is why planning is very important. If planning is done well and done properly, then whatever is to be made will always work out well. You have homework. Now, this homework, you are not going to write anything, you think about it. And it is on problem solving, especially on that problem solving, especially on waterlogged area. We, at the moment now, we are having sun, that is why it's dry, but when it rains, the back of our classroom becomes really muddy. Now, that type of environment or that type of situation is known as waterlogged, meaning there is so much water in that part of the area that it makes the soil becomes muddy and soft. So, for your homework, not to write it, or if you want to write about it, you do so, otherwise just think about it. How can we help to solve a problem, water problem on a waterlogged area, just like the one we have at the back of our classrooms? Now, our next lesson, activity. If I can, Raymond, please read that for us. Next lesson, activity.
Ways of improving the school environment.
Okay, ways of improving the school environment, especially class, which type of environment? The waterlogged area. Let's have Harold to guess what our key phrases.
Problem solving. Problem.
Okay, Harold says problem solving. That's Harold's guess. Let's have, Elizabeth. Maylina.
Planning and designing.
Planning and designing. So let's see who is correct from the two. Okay? So our key phrase is planning and designing. So we have Merlin who is correct with the correct key phrase for this lesson. This is to the receiving school teachers. Please, the second activity where the students are to individually work on designing whatever they had to do, please make sure you collect them in the next lesson to have a look at the work the students have done. And with that, good morning class, the receiving school, students and the teachers.
Good morning, Mrs. Watangas, and thank you for your lesson.
Receiving teachers, here's your reference for the next lesson: strand, substrand, outcome, topic, materials, and reference.